keep the dream alive in week number 2 of the road to Wololo. Let's see if he can do it up against a Civ that he's known to play a lot. In fact, hold on a sec. He is playing as the HRE. Wait. Did we get paid? This makes more sense. This actually makes more sense.
Hold on. I'm checking which was wrong. Was the lobby wrong?
Was the lobby wrong or was the in-game? I'm really puzzled right now. I mean, if
we need to make sure that what we're seeing right now is right.
If you click on a TC,
right,
we can make sure.
We've had confirmation. The lobby was wrong.
Was a bait.
TheMista is playing English and HuT is playing the HRE.
This makes a lot more sense because now it's like signature civs in a lot of ways. Like Mista, like, you know, he got a lot of fame for his double stables horseman spam build for the English. And I've already highlighted why HuT will feel comfortable in HRE. Like, this is probably the one civ he has the most hours in, probably next to the Roos. And he really was a trendsetter in the first few months with this civ alongside Matisse and Iagos.
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Doesn't make it any less intriguing. Still going to be a very, very interesting game as we have got TheMista running in the east of the map, playing on red, and HuT on the west, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. Very important to take a look at those relics first of all. They look to be not too bad, fairly balanced. It's going to be an interesting one. Mista, from what we remember of him, was very, very, very good on the English. Both have very nice wood spawns right at the back of their bases, very nicely protected as TheMista goes on his little scouting mission, trying to work out what's going on.
I think this is actually a matchup where Regnitz Cathedral can be a little bit of a bait. Just because there's actually a very clear timing where you can end the game against the English with the Burgrave. Simply because your man-at-arms match up well if you force the opponent into man-at-arms. And usually the HRE, like where their strength lies, is they're probably the fastest castling civ in the game. Other than give you anxieties, English Castle Rush. But like in general, they're probably the most consistent castle age booming civ in the game, and Burgrave allows you to accelerate your aggression. And it's definitely a big switch up we've been seeing out of HRE players in the last few weeks, is that they've started to understand that, like, sure, you can go Imperial and you can make the Love Hotel and you get 1,000,001 villages, but you know what's even better? Getting a win 30 minutes earlier. And that's what I'm going to be looking for, is whether Mista is going to play aggression or HuT is in this matchup.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And by the way, so every now and then, a comment on Twitch does warrant being read out, and one of my favorites of the day is Commander Pike 911 saying, "Have the casters died?" 1 minute later, "Oh no, I muted myself." Good for you. That warrants a readout, Commander Pike. Well done. As we get back to the game. Now, I think he had muted the stream and thought that we were the problem.
I like how we're just compiling the whoopsie tweets of the comments of the day, right? So that goes up there with commenting on your own comment regularly.
No, that's a good one. That's a very good one. As we get back to the game, we see TheMista not forgotten how to farm, which makes perfect sense considering what Mista does in real life, and Arkan Chapin coming out for HuT. So no Minework Palace today. We see the Arkan go up. Interested to see. That's very unlikely now that we see a Burgrave once the Arkan goes up, I think. But although you never know, we'll have to wait and see. Not a bad. What do you rate that Arkan? Pretty good, right? He managed to get some wood, gold, and the berries in there, I think I recall. So pretty good Arkan Chapel placement. Yeah, look at that. It's got the berries in there as well. So that's really nice.
No deer, but
really
who cares?
nice.
Like, he's got his gold. So he's got gold and he's got enough sheep to actually boom him up to castle. And now, yep, here we go. Time to start pushing them in. This is something that HRE players have got really good at to optimize the Arkan Chapel. You can just infinitely push these. And I honestly think that this will evolve further in the coming weeks. I expect players to start moving their scouts in early to push the deer further away so they can't do this, because this is going to be a very big eco boom now, because you gather a rate of 0.83 from these deer. Well, you get a 40% buff when you range this Arkan Chapel. That's ridiculous. That is vastly above the shoreline fish we just saw last game, and will allow HuT to reach castle age very far ahead of Mista.
So when I do this at my very high rank What I like, literally, I look around and I have herded them so far away from my Ark and Chapel that you could not believe it. I literally, I turn around and I've herded them completely in the opposite direction. But that was just
like
one
that,
escape,
that one.
but like that one.
It just looked like it
But he
emerged
did a
from
pretty
the
good job there.
carcass, like some sort of like grim beginning to a story. You know, like those Hollywood stories where the baby is born and the mother like dies. It's like they will now lead us to greatness. Nope, no, not this deer. Bambi goes down in this situation. There'll be no rebellion from the natural forces of the world. But it's a big deal because by having the deer underneath the Ark and Chapel, you gather at a rate of 1.15 food per second. That is bonkers. Like the English can't match that in any way. At any point. And that means...
How do you do that? How do you know? That is just... All right, let's play a little game, because we're in the early stages of this game. Okay. Shorefish in the influence of the Ark and Chapel. Go.
Oh, that's easy. 1.4.
1.4? Someone in chat better be verifying
that's
that.
easy because it's a round number. It's 1.
Okay, so hold on. Let's do... Okay, no, this is... Okay, whatever. Right, you're just going to get them all right anyway. But nonetheless, it is very... It's very impressive.
The resources
I was about to start
game.
doing like... No, I was about to start going like food with horticulture, like when your granny's jumping on 1 foot in the influence of the Ark and Chapel.
So
like,
here's one for
you're going to get them all anyway.
Berries from CDN. So berries is 0.66 by default. So you're going to get an extra 0.26. So it's going to put you up to 0.92 on berries. That's better than Delhi, by the way.
What?
0.66.
By the way, the worst, I've just found the worst of all the Twitch comments is Ender StarCraft 2 with Pesti needs to cast more was surely the worst take of the day. Literally the worst take of the entire stream on this situation. If anyone has
we're going to make Pesti cast
misread
more.
what is happening.
We're going to make Pesti cast. He needs to appreciate casters more.
The biggest misread of what is happening in this world right now is that. That's a ban right there. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you, Ender StarCraft. I'm just having some fun with
the crazy part, by the way, is like I am also shocked as you that like I'm good with these numbers. Like I roll my eyes when someone's like just do the numbers as like a caster. I'm like I'm a play-by-play. That's what an analyst is for. Someone else do the stupid numbers.
Just wild knowledge. I just don't know how that's like possible. I remember when there was like Lidicor's also very good at it, but like you guys like when there's like you had like the longbows that were in the aura of the some upgrade. I don't even know what it's called, and you're like, oh, that's going to give him an extra 0.37 damage against
don't
armor.
Get me started on the stupidity of English attack speed auras. Like it's so I think the longbows are like is it 13.8 and crossbows like 17.8. Or 17.6, and then I think Spearman, if Spearman on Man-at-Arms are the only ones to get the true full percentage, like, it's dumb. Like, I genuinely loosely follow the English attack speed aura ones because I just give up. Like, Relic, like, you know what?
KP,
I don't need to worry about
KP,
how good or bad at maths I am.
KP,
Relic does it worse.
KP.
Yep.
KP. Look at the landmark.
I know. It's a white tower. And I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't understand it. Well, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. Like, he wants Siege, but you're going to build Mangonels against Man-at-Arms. Why do you hate English so much?
Again, that's weird, because we've seen it twice.
Oh, yeah, I understand, like, the landmark. It's just the placement that is baffling me. Like, he built the landmark because he saw how quick HuT's timing was, and he knew what was coming. Because it's Burgrave. It has to be Burgrave with the speed.
But why is it back behind his council hall like that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, it's very weird. I mean,
as in, like, Mr. is right and we are wrong because Mr. is Mr. and we are not Mr., but I'm still confused.
No,
and Mr.'s going to show us why he's right.
I like to channel the HuT thought process. Haha, what is this white tower? Everything die now. Like,
no, and watch. Everything just died to this white tower because
but
Mr.
you don't
is just
go
Mr.
after the food. You just go after the wood and gold. If you go after wood and gold, then Mr's stuck. And look where all the houses are. Look. Okay, so this is the problem with the white tower that's bugging me. It protects his farmlands, but he doesn't have room to build infrastructure. He doesn't have room to build houses. Like, my only thought process is he wanted to get into siege, but instead he's going knights, which is a very interesting choice to make with the white tower.
Yeah, that's the issue. So when you build a white tower up against like a natural barrier like that, you're just by definition always losing half its effectiveness, right? I mean, it's a radius. It operates in a radius. You've lost half of it, right? Half of its zone of impact is lost.
It's kind of like you're building it as if you're worried you're going to be attacked by the hill people. But like, there's no hill people up there, Mister. It's safe. Don't worry. I mean, he's at least keeping the knights alive. But, like, look at the eco already. Every once in a while, he's losing troops, and HuT can keep this up indefinitely. Like, his eco is still really good for a long time.
Is this just Mister's, is this just his, like, sentimental feelings towards farms coming out here? Does he just really, like, the goal
if he's away
you
from
can
the
touch,
fields too long, he starts to get, like, a scratching feeling, so he has to enable himself in-game and stays like, I haven't tilled the field recently.
I'm just saying it's not a coincidence that days after a hailstorm in Greece, Mister really wants to protect his farms. I'm going to throw it out there.
He's addicted to farming the same way I'm addicted to gaming. He's like, it's been 2 days, man.
Take me back.
Need to till the fields. Looks like Mister is able to break out, though. But the knights, the problem he's got right now is, like, he has very limited knights and very limited gold. Like, I think he's got decent reserves still, probably like over 2k on that vein. But I think, like, this chip away at villages, like, it's stretching his eco already. And the problem is you don't want to be...
Look, they've gone Swatsies. Wheelbarrow. This time, Mister remembered, and HuT's not taken Wheelbarrow's HRE.
Which is interesting considering that HuT played out onto Pocket Eco. Usually the player that plays Pocket Eco gets more value out of doing this. But he has got the ball, right? So it was annoying in that he spent a lot of idle time walking out, but now that he's there, like, he doesn't get as much value out of Wheelbarrow. It's still worth having, especially when you have this much gold in reserve. You can afford it.
There is just something about seeing HRE with 4 relics that makes me...
Well, it's not Regnitz days, right? Like, he's went Burgrave.
It's not Regnitz.
This is what Burgrave gets you, by the way. Burgrave, like, when you go Regnitz, you're like the poor guy. You're Oliver Twist. Like, please, sir, please, can I have a relic? You may be lucky if you get 1. It's very rare you can get 2 in this type of aggressive matchup. But when you push unlimited mana arms, Mister doesn't have time to stop you getting relics. He's always running away from this.
Yeah, well, it's that contradiction, isn't it? The Burgrave makes it easier to get the relics, but you want them with the Regnitz. But yeah, it's...
Do you want more gold or do you want to win? That's the way I like to think about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's just nice to play HRE with a Burgrave. You just don't think about wood for the first, like, 5 or 6 minutes of the game. As HuT tries to get that. Is he going to get that up?
No.
And there's no room. Oh, that's a crunch.
Well, he'll just about complete it. He's going to lose a few villages, though.
Yeah, it went up, but at what cost? A few villagers went down there. Still a village gap. Yeah, still looking fine. HuT's still looking fine.
My patented bot at this stage, right? Just keep it. But there's another problem here. Like, HuT is still ahead. And neither of them are thinking Imperial at all. They're both now sucked into this, but I gotta give credit to Mister. He's up to 10 knights now.
He's up to 10 knights, but look at that. That eco gap is really significant. I mean, up on Vils, 4 relics to none. The one thing I'd say is his base looks very open and not well protected, HuT. It's like, he could really do with just a little bit of walling at this point. It's
really there's your walling, but it's in the wrong place. Right in.
Not where he needs it to be. Oh, we're going to go down here. 1, 2, should we say 3?
I think you got
Should we call it 4?
I'm glad we're not asking you for food rates. I think he lost 2.
No.
2 in the scout.
As they say in the business, it was with 1 or 4. 1 or 4 went down.
Aren't you the guy in charge of all the money for the tournaments? I'm getting worried about these scouting skills, Pesti.
Yeah, 1 or 4. 1 or 4, we're fine.
This is how we find out that he was meant to only invest 25k in Golden League. He accidentally put an extra one in there. He's like, I want to.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? I accidentally said 120 before the thing, and then I just felt too embarrassed to change it.
Your old mic was cutting out when you gave the numbers. They thought you said 125, and you just felt like it was
everyone got
embarrassing.
hyped. Said 125, 125. I was like,
well, guess we're doing it now. Let me just remortgage the house.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a house.
Yeah. No, after that
anyway.
So HuT's got a lot of gold at least, but he's struggling with food. He reached the critical point of weakness because he wasn't ready for that raid. Like, if he was able to kill Mista's raid there, then he's in really good stead. But now HuT has to go defensive because he hasn't set up farms. And all these pocket ecos are running out. So Mista's actually in a very good position in this game right now because of the way he optimized his assault. And I feel like this is where HuT has to go full defensive and play your more traditional HRE, where they just sit under their TC and play pat cake for themselves.
Yeah, and maybe we just end up seeing again like, who's the better kind of in the ultra late game. It comes down so much. It feels to composition and just who manages that situation the best. Maybe that's the point that we're going to get to. We're gonna have to find Mista I think Mista knows he is pretty significantly behind on eco, so he's going to push in again. See if he can take a couple more dents out of that. He has managed to close that villager gap a bit to only 2. Of course, that doesn't take into account the relics. It doesn't also take into account the fact that Mista's farming is going to be far more efficient.
No, it's not though. HuT's missing something very important right now. Yeah, the hidden chapel is empty.
Yeah, he's not using it, which is.
Okay, I think he banked one again. Yeah, he did. Like he finally fixed it, but you could see on the berry in the original light, like he didn't have a guy in that. Maybe it's a graphical bug, like because I don't know why you wouldn't have Umbrella in there at all times, but it looks like it's fixed now.
Yeah, I can just think he took the. Maybe he just need. I don't know, but anyway.
Maybe he really wanted that final relic a little bit too much, right?
But I mean, he got it, and here we find out where is the fifth.
It's right next to Mista's base. Like if HuT somehow gets that now, this is some kind of behind enemy lines movie. I don't ever see that relic getting picked up until he gets full control in the mid again. And I don't think he's gonna get control in the mid anytime soon. Like he's full defensive. He's building up a sizable clump though. There is an opportunity for HRE to strike out, but they need to get into siege next because if you show up in Mista's base with just infantry, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
And looks like we're going to have a bit of a confrontation here. Mista, he's going for the pincer again. Look at the wraparound. He's going for the wraparound. Oh, doing well. Getting that. That's not anything. But look, he's got. Well, no, he's got some. Not that one. Not that one.
I know.
That was such a nice move. He's dragged everything away. Look how many villagers are there.
He's still kiss chasing. He's still kiss chasing. He's fully exposed now. He'll be able to pull back. A few man-at-arms will deter. His man-at-arms are fully juiced up now, so they're quite the threatening force. Well, HuT, when he moves forward like this, he needs to find a way of getting maybe some forward infrastructure. He has got enough stone for a keep. I think the intent is to now box your opponent in. This could be really big, because it could enable him to build siege behind it, and then breach Mista's base. The villager pull on the way.
Mista just does seem, look at that, he's just timing that so well. A few villagers going down there again.
That's definitely textiles.
And just like, Mista's got the villager lead.
Yeah, but look what HuT's doing. He's pulling to the front line now. He's got the villagers, the keep drops coming in.
Oh, I love it. That's a fantastic keep drop. And he's now, his knights straight into the spears. He desperately wants to stop that keep going up, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop it. He's bringing a few more knights around the back. Maybe he...
No, it's not going to work. The longbows aren't even targeting it right now. The knights are going to try to move in, but there's enough villagers to complete this up. Crossbow's going to backstep to make sure they don't get bad trades. And although there's 1-2 villagers, it's worth it because now you've invalidated the front side of Mista's base. And from here, it should be a siege workshop into a blitz. And there it is being built up right now because once he gets 2 trebuchets online, Mista is going to be under pressure.
Yeah, and just look at that. Look at Mista's upgrades. Is that overlay working? He's got wheelbarrow and not a single other upgrade of any kind at 20 minutes. Zero economic or military upgrades.
Yeah, he hasn't gone for a blacksmith at all because he had limited space, remember, when those raids came in. And then I think he kind of forgot to go back for it. The problem he has as well is Mr. doesn't have much gold left over. You can see he had to move out to the south side because he depleted his initial holdings. And by the way, Mr. needs a defensive keep, and he can't afford it. He's 1 stone short.
No!
1
stone! No!
He got blocked. I think that's his only stone as well. The next stone is on the south side, and the south side, I think, is being raided right now by HuT.
And he's not got a market.
No. Like, look on the south side. There's units coming in there. The man-at-arms. No! Uh-oh. That is a problem. That's the only gold Mister's getting. And that's the stone. That's the reserve stone. This is going from worse to worse for Mister now.
Sir, he should have sent one of those villagers to pick up 1 stone. But
you are pretty hard stuck now. You have to go for bootleg units like longbows, horsemen. You can't afford knights anymore. Problem is that like longbowmen do not deal with the man-at-arms at all, and horsemen once again do not deal with the man-at-arms at all.
I mean, but
Wait,
all this Mister did such a good job with the Vil difference. He really closed it, but this is really difficult. Oh, he's now got the.
Here comes the trebs.
The treb is now going to start making life really difficult.
Next keep! And he can't defend, like he can't block this at all. He can't stop it going up. The raid through does nothing because a few man-at-arms come out from Burgrave. Trebuchet, nice move there, but it's going to attack too slow. It's going to be tight, but it looks like HuT should be able to get this up and he'll be able to repair it afterwards. It's just enough villages as well.
If he has 1 more, he could have just done him for 800. That would have been unbelievable.
But he can't afford it, Pesti. He's Oliver Twist right
No,
now.
he can't.
The only upside is that, you know, at least he hasn't daisy chained in his TC. Otherwise, he'd be able to emerge to repair this up. And now the dive in because the trebuchet. Mr. cherishes it so much. HuT will take it away. And GG instantly. Is that the card equivalent for the English? You lose the trebuchet, you call GG. Looks like that's the case. Game 3 is going to be needed.
That was a great game, though. That was a great game. I thought that could have gone either way. That's a really hard matchup for the English. I think that's just. I mean, HuT played very well. I think that's Altai is a really good map for that as well, for HRA to be into the English there. But I mean, if we're being honest, looking back, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I forgot what I was next going to say.
You just need to look into what you were thinking before to find it, because you are using hindsight.
No, I was looking to see what's going on in the rest of the brackets. I can't do that. I'm not talented enough to do that.